Hi, Chris. The questions you have and the feelings that you have about the vaccine, about whether we take the COVID-19 vaccine, is not so much about moderation as what you are talking about as it is about love. And so let's address this from the standpoint of love. Not harming animals, which were harmed in the development of the vaccines, would seem to be that we don't use the vaccine. And on the other side, if we don't use the vaccine, we're not living up to the commandment about loving our neighbors. And even though the animals are our neighbors as well, we're not loving the neighbors that we're to protect, the human neighbors. We're not going to make any difference in what happened to the animals at this stage of the game. That's going to be something for the future. And the reason we have the COVID problem right now, in my opinion, is because we're eating animals. And all of these viruses and these problems that we have are coming from the fact that we are factory farming animals and under very unsanitary conditions, even though we say they're not. But in Asia, they're a lot worse than we have. But the problem is that it's both cases are brought about by the hardness of the human heart that causes the virus in the first place. And we have to overcome it. Now, if we never see anybody else, if we're never around any other people, then it doesn't matter. We just don't take the virus. We don't take the the vaccine. But if we care, if we are around other people, then we're not being proper students. We're not being proper caregivers. We're not listening to what God teaches us because we're not loving our neighbors. And that's the key. So I don't think it's moderation. I think it's love. But if we love our neighbors as ourselves, we're going to take the vaccine so that it gets us closer to herd immunity where there's no longer a problem. And while we're doing that, we'll work on the problem of trying to end the factory farming of animals, the eating of animals, and all of the problems that come about because of that hardness of heart. That's going to take longer. But in the meantime, we have to have fewer people being treated and less involvement in having to do further animal research. Let's end what we can as soon as we can. So the answer is, in my opinion, take the vaccine. Not condemnation. It's not siding one way or the other. I'm talking about it from a standpoint of love. Amen.